Sometimes a single act of kindness can change not only someone else's life, but your own. This is the real story of a young man with nothing left but hope and a single dollar. He gave it away to a stranger, thinking it was the end. But what happened after turned his entire world upside down. It's not just a story, it's a reminder that the smallest acts of goodness can lead to the biggest miracles. Welcome to Soulfeel Stories. Make sure to subscribe for more inspiring true stories like this one. Now let's dive in. The struggle. John Carter was 24 years old and homeless. Just a year ago, he had a job, a small apartment, and a dream of starting his own business. But life has a strange way of testing us. A car accident left him with medical bills, a broken leg, and no way to work. In just 6 months, everything he had was gone. His job laid him off. He couldn't pay rent. His friends slowly drifted away. The city that once felt like home now felt cold and heartless. He slept in shelters, on benches, sometimes under bridges. And now, he had only $1 left. It wouldn't buy a meal. It couldn't buy a new chance. But it was all he had. He sat outside a small diner on a freezing winter morning. He looked around at people rushing by, holding coffee, chatting on phones, living lives that seemed so distant from his own. And then he saw her. The stranger. A woman in her mid-30s, wearing a worn-out coat, holding the hand of a little girl, no more than 6. They stood quietly in front of the diner, reading the menu posted on the glass, then walked away. John noticed something. The woman looked tired. The girl's jacket was too thin for the weather, and there was a sadness in the woman's eyes that reminded him of his own. He got up. Slowly, limping from his old injury, he walked toward them. "Excuse me," he said softly. The woman turned. "I don't have much," John continued, pulling out the crumpled dollar from his pocket. "But maybe you could use this more than me." The woman stared at him. Tears filled her eyes. She didn't take the dollar. She asked him, "Are you okay?" And smiled. "I will be." The little girl hugged him. It was a moment. A real moment. The woman said thank you, and they disappeared into the crowd. John didn't expect anything in return. He wasn't trying to be noticed. He just did what felt right. What happened next would change everything. The miracle. Later that evening, John returned to the bench near the diner. He sat, hungry but strangely at peace. That's when a black car pulled up in front of him. A man in a suit stepped out. "You John Carter?" the man asked. John stood, startled. "Yes?" The man handed him a note. It read, "You gave away your last dollar. I saw you. That was my sister and niece. She's been struggling after leaving an abusive home. You reminded her that good people still exist. I want to thank you. Come with my assistant. Let's talk." John didn't know what to say, but he followed. That night, he had his first warm meal in days. He took a shower. He slept in a clean bed. And in the morning, everything changed. The man, Daniel Marks, was a businessman and investor. He offered John a place to stay, and even more, he offered mentorship. John couldn't believe it. In just 72 hours, he went from homeless to hopeful. The comeback. With Daniel's help, John got back on his feet. He took online courses, worked part-time, and started planning again. This time, smarter. This time, with purpose. He didn't forget where he came from. He didn't let success make him forget the pain. 2 years later, John launched his own company, a social enterprise aimed at helping the homeless get training, jobs, and housing. He called it the dollar hope. His story went viral. He spoke on news shows, TEDx stages, and schools across the country. Not to tell people how to succeed, but to remind them. One act of kindness can spark a chain reaction. Today, John still keeps a framed dollar on his office wall. Not because it had value, but because it changed his life. He says, "That dollar wasn't my last, it was my beginning." So, if you ever feel like you have nothing to offer, remember John. Even when you feel invisible, your actions matter. Even when you feel powerless, you have the power to lift someone else. Because real power lives in kindness. This is Soulfeel Stories. If this story touched you, don't forget to hit subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and share it with someone who needs hope today. We'll be back with more powerful, true stories that remind us all what it means to be human. Until then, never stop believing in the power of one small act.